Welcome once again to The Lost Signals discusses games and gaming culture, a pretentious, philosophical, pedantic podcast where we focus on various aspects of video games as well as other issues and topics within gaming in general. Hello there, welcome back to Lost Signals, Games and Gaming Culture. I remain your host, Scott Thurlow, and I'm here tonight with Jonathan Ian Manzer.
Hello, everyone.
And Stephen Amosi.
Hey, we're back.
And tonight we're going to be doing our E3 coverage, which just happened about a week and a half ago or so. So, a little late, but of course, as always, my caveat is I'm not going to cover every single thing that came out of it. There are other outlets who, if you just want like a huge breakdown, this is like sort of my personal, like, the general stuff, the big stuff, and the stuff that I'm interested in that came out, and what I thought of it. So, the main thing is, I'll say this, that it seemed to be a consensus among many other outlets who, like, this year's E3 is okay. It's fine.
Well, a little lackluster.
Yeah,
I kind of agree.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like lackluster, but also something like exciting. Like a little bit above lackluster, but not much, more or less. So I'll go through like the big publishers and like the main showcases, and I'm going to start out with the worst ones ever. EA, of course. So all I really have is they can always go fuck themselves. They did show off doing a game called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is going to be developed by Respawn, who did Titanfall. But I also have always beware of EA's meddling bullshit as well. And they said there's no microtransactions in Andromeda, or not Andromeda, Anthem, which is our new big MMO thing coming out. Great, good, you're heroes now? Not really. So it's so awkward as well. Like their host always like, we want it to be about you, but really, it's about money. So I didn't really like care much. Even the shit that they did announce, like those things, like I'm not that into them, but that was their showcase. So I'll move on now to Bethesda, which of course is one of our beloved, one of our favorite developers. So they announced, well, they used to be at least. Maybe
losing.
Used to like them a bit more. Well, but I think you're about to say that. Yeah, they announced Fallout 76, or at least teased it leading up to it, and then showed it off. And yeah, it's an online like survival-ish thing in the Fallout world. I don't know if I'm all too cool with that.
For people into that type of thing, I'm sure it'll be great, but I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah, it's. What do you think? What's your thoughts on
that? Go back to Daggerfall and Morrowind.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, they did also have like a 20-second little thing. It's just the logo for Elder Scrolls with a 6 next to it and a generic fantasy mountain. It was like, basically, yep, we're working on it still, but that's all we're going to tell you. But yeah, like you said, Stevo, 76 looks cool if you're into it, but that's not what I really want to play Fallout for. It's the same reason I didn't really get into Elder Scrolls Online either. But it does come out this November, so you'll get to see it before the end of the year. And I guess we'll see what it's like. I'm just definitely not going to get it, at least outright. Maybe I'll get it later if it's supposed to be good, but I'll move on. They did show off two things I am interested in, is the new Wolfenstein, which is called Youngblood. And it's going to be a little odd, but co-op centered, starring BJ and Anya's twin daughters from like the first two games.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'm interested in that. They also announced they're doing Doom Eternal, which is the follow-up to 2015's Doom, which is pretty cool. There wasn't much shown, but they said they were going to show more at QuakeCon when that happens, so maybe we'll see like more footage and so forth from that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a good Doom follow-up, because the first game was
I definitely
awesome.
want to see a sequel to that, or at least a follow-up to it. And then they also announced, I really like Prey, and they did a little like showcase about this little DLC mode called Moon Crash, which, again, a la the Fallout thing, it's not quite what I wanted out of DLC for Prey. I wanted more story. This one's sort of like a roguelike, like repeating randomized setup of a station on the moon, and you're trying to escape with a number of characters. It seems interesting, but it wasn't quite what I really thought was going to be for it. So, and the last thing I'm interested in that they showed off was Rage 2. The first Rage was fine, it was okay. This one hopefully will make some improvements, and I'm pretty much interested in that as well. So now I'll move on to Sony's showcase, which the first one I have is something Ian and I are very much interested in, is the Resident Evil 2 remake. That looks really good.
I'm hoping it's Resident Evil 7/4. And by that I mean they take the best of Resident Evil 7 and the best of Resident Evil 4 and combine them. And it looked from that
it could very well be that, yeah.
And I'm hoping...
No, I agree. Resident Evil 2 was probably... it's tied probably with 4 for one of my favorite Resident Evil in the series. But it definitely was the first one I played, and I have fond memories of it. And the remake is looking very, very good.
So they're completely redoing
Yes.
all the gameplay and everything like that, right? 'Cause
Yes.
I was a couple years ago. I went back and tried to play Resident Evil 2, and it was
I know.
disastrous. It was horrible. It was almost impossible to play.
No, that's what Ian was saying. They're taking like sort of the over-the-shoulder camera from
Yeah.
4, and like that'll be the controls. And like, it's a total remake. It's not just a re-release.
Right.
So I also think that because Resident Evil always has had stupid puzzles and all that, but I felt that Resident Evil 7 attempted to make it more realistic as it can in this kind of world.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's what they were going for. Like, it looked good.
Yeah, it looks really solid, and it comes out January 25th of 2019. So won't have to wait that long for it. It's probably one of the first games I'm going to get of next year.
Yes.
And yeah, it's looking quite good. They also showed off Last of Us 2, which yes, I'm interested in, even though I still maintain that Last of Us 1 is a bit overrated. It's good, but it's not like the second coming of video games or anything. But I still will check out 2 because it looks solid, and I trust them to do a good follow-up. We also saw they showed off Death Stranding, which is something I've been checking out. It's Kojima's new joint.
I'm probably the biggest Kojima fan in the room here.
Yeah.
And
And
like,
I'm probably the
yeah.
The opposite end.
I am very much looking. Like I watched they put out an 8-minute video of
Yeah.
this a while ago, and I was like riveted. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this game is and how it works and all that type of stuff. Because it looks like it's going to have a whole bunch of very strange mechanics that are going to, as Kojima
Yep,
often
exactly.
does. Which I'm looking forward to like delving into and like checking out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I did watch a bunch of the footage, and I was interested in this because of the nature surrounding it when he first announced it or showed it off like a while ago. And it features Norman Reedus, and I believe Mads Mikkelsen is also involved. So yeah, definitely interested in it. I probably will check it out. So it's cool to see some more. There's no date on it, but like you said, Steve, I have in my notes Kojima as ever, like pretty much. I'll move on to, they showed off Spider-Man, or it's called Marvel Spider-Man, which is the new iteration of an open world Spider-Man game. Looks really good. It's an exclusive to Sony, I believe. So there you go. Suck at everyone else.
That looks pretty good from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of that one.
Yeah. Definitely. That's one of the games. I'm almost certainly going to get that day of like release when it comes out, and that comes out later on this year in September 7th. So again, even shorter wait. Then they showed off this sort of like kind of out of nowhere. There's a game called Control. It's described as a gravity bending shooter, but it's made by Remedy, the guys who made the studio who made Alan Wayne and Max Payne. Alan Wake, that is.
Alan Wayne.
Alan Payne. But they made both of those, and I enjoyed both of those as well. And it's got a 2019 date, but no actual like specific date. So that's the big stuff from Sony, and I'll move on to their big rival, Microsoft. So some of the big news that came out of their thing is that they acquired like a couple of third-party studios. For example, they got Undead Lab, which did State of Decay, which I quite liked. They acquired Ninja Theory. So like this is both good and bad, I guess. Ninja Theory did Hellblade, which is one of my games of the year. The problem, third one is Compulsion Games, who are working on, hopefully going to release We Happy Few in a little bit, like soon in a month or so. But that's cool for them, for Microsoft and the studios, but it also means they're probably going to start more exclusives with those studios, so it kind of sucks on that front. But good that they got picked up by one of the big boys, and now they can have a bigger budget, at least in theory.
Yeah, you might have to pick up an Xbox One, Scott.
Yeah, I know. I might have to break down and do it. It depends what comes out.
If I ever get an Xbox One, the first game I'm getting is Cuphead, by the way.
Fair enough. Well, I'll just
and
say,
we have news about
yeah,
that.
speaking of that, they did also announce a DLC for Cuphead, sort of adds a little like last salvo, if you will, Steve-O, as you like to use that phrase. Yeah, it adds like a couple new levels and a boss or two at the end of each one. More Cuphead is what people want, and a female Cup character as well. So there you go. So yeah, the other strange thing I thought that I noticed about Microsoft's showcase is that a lot of other things were shown at it, like during it, but not necessarily exclusives.
Right.
Like for example, they showed off Just Cause 4, which isn't going to be exclusive, but it's cool. I'm interested in that. That comes out December 4th.
Gears of War isn't, is it?
Gears of War is definitely an exclusive.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it always has been.
Wow.
But they did show
I
up.
forgot. I always
Yeah.
had Xbox
Yeah.
when the other Gears of War games came out.
That's
Damn
funny.
it.
But they did show off Gears of War 5 as well as two little like spin-offs, like smaller little side titles. Halo Infinite, of course, like the next big Halo, like sure. One interesting I thought, again, a game that was showed off at it, but not exclusive, is Dying Light 2. I quite like the first Dying Light, and Chris Avellone, who is a narrative designer, and he did like Baldur's Gate and like other games like that, like some of the In Exile stuff. So like I do trust him to be as a narrative designer on a game, so that's kind of a big selling point for me on that. Crackdown 3 was shown off but pushed back a little bit in the release date. A couple other things Steve was mentioning to me precast that he's like, oh man, they're doing a new Battletoads,
Yeah.
which they are, but it's going to be exclusive.
That fucking sucks, man. I want to play
But-
Battletoads. Like, that'll be the
It
second
seems
game
really
I
cool.
get.
Yeah.
No, you think you want to play that, and then you're just gonna rage quit like the rest.
Like I did when I played the first Battletoads.
Well, it depends how fucking difficult it's going to be, I
That
guess.
stupid ass.
If it's not super difficult,
Then it's not Battletoads. Fair enough. I mean, that's fine line. That's true. And so 2 other big things from that one. Actually, 3, sorry. I'll mention that they showed off Metro Exodus, which is, I really like the first 2 Metro games. So that's cool. I'm going to check that out for sure. That comes out February 22nd of 2019. And there's another game called Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, which is From Software's new joint. Which is
My jam.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play the shit out
It's
of
going to be your jam for sure. That's cool and all. But they did say that it's not quite part of the Soulsborne like series / world. It's just like their new thing. And then finally, this one from me and E perhaps, Cyberpunk 2077, which is something I'm going to keep an eye on for a while. They showed off like a bunch more footage of it.
So we have to give this credit to Outside Xbox, which is actually a show I quite like on YouTube. But they were describing. No, was it them? One of I think maybe it might have
Possibly
been IGN.
them, sure.
IGN. One of those I was doing my research said that the first trailer for Cyberpunk was Blade Runner-ish. The second one was almost Grand Theft Auto, but the gameplay demonstration was Fifth Element.
Yeah.
That's how they described
That's
it.
pretty cool, yeah.
And I'm actually very intrigued by that.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I mean, it's CD Projekt Red, who I trust them a lot. Like, they're one of the most like, for me, I'm going to be on board with their vision of a game. And good.
I was gonna say, my brief first look at it, I almost thought it was like a Deus Ex.
Yeah, it's because it's in
clone
first
or
person,
something like
sort
that.
of, but
You know, like I'm willing to give that a look. I never got into the Deus Ex games. I know I should. I know you like love those games, and
I thought they were quite good, yes.
I just like I couldn't.
It's not dreary from what I understand, or there are parts that are.
Yeah.
But it's very much an interesting feature. It's a first-person shooter, but RPG elements to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they said it's sort of Borderlands-ish.
Okay.
in
Which
a way.
sounds fine too,
Like,
yeah.
So I'm intrigued by everything.
Yeah, it all sounds great, looks great, and like I said, I'm on board with CD Projekt Red's vision for a Blade Runner-ish game in future, and
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, but I think you might have missed 1 or 2 of these. I'm just looking at the list that you
Yeah,
had
sure.
here. Did you mention Halo?
I think I did just briefly.
Halo
'Cause-
Infinite and the Devil May Cry 5?
I did not mention Devil May Cry 5. Yeah, that again was shown off, and
Also coming out.
It-
I mean,
it looks cool, but
Yeah.
I played the first 1 or 2, if I recall correctly, and I enjoyed them, but I never really got into them. But sure, it's nice that they're making another one, I suppose.
yeah.
And,
I
into
never played much Devil May Cry, but I mean, it was fun. I know there are people that are like super into
Yeah,
those games.
I understand the appeal
And
of
if
it.
you are, new Devil May Cry is coming
Yep,
out. So
exactly.
Check
So-
it out.
Check it out if you want. I'll move on to Ubisoft, who again I am always like up and down with as with their games and as a publisher developer. But they are making a new AC, of course, AC Odyssey set in ancient Greece, which seems cool. It comes out in this October 5th.
Kratos did it.
Yes,
If-
I understand.
Might I add, I am forever surprised. I remember watching you play the first game, and it feels like it wasn't that long ago. And you've probably played
like
like
10 years ago.
12 fucking Assassin's Creed
Yes.
games since then. I can't believe how many of those games you've like trudged through to get to
Well,
like
like I
the
said,
4 good ones.
They've been up
Like,
and
whatever.
down. Don't get me wrong, but to be fair, so this one is going to take a lot of the mechanics and how they sort of revamped it from Origins, which
Yeah.
is good because Origins was one of the better ones. So
Mm.
if it's basically that in Greece, I'm pretty much on board with that. It's fine. They showed off one of the things that people are waiting on is Beyond Good and Evil 2. And I really like the first Beyond Good and Evil. It's sort of like a beloved cult classic.
Mm.
So they showed off some pre-rendered footage and stuff, but basically they said the beta isn't coming out till 2019, so it's still going to be a while.
Good
But they did show it off, so fine. There's a game. Ian and I were mentioning this like a while back, or we found it called Transference, which is a VR game, and Elijah Wood's like attached to it, and like as part of it.
Oh yeah.
So
I forgot all about
yeah,
that.
so they showed that off, which seems cool under Ubi's thing. And also they're doing Division 2, if you care. I certainly don't, but I know people like the Division and all that, so of course we're doing
Talk to if Mikey was on the
Yeah.
show, he'd be
Yeah, our buddy Mikey certainly will be jumping for joy there. So I'll move on real quickly. So this is really funny to me. I have Square Enix. The only thing that I wrote down is they showed off Shadow the Tomb Raider, and I have like, cool, yes, I don't care. Like, sure, that's it.
You know what I'm really surprised about is how much Tomb Raider is still like a beloved franchise. Did anybody ever play the first game? Like, did anybody
I
have
played a
fun
bit of
playing
it.
that game? I played a little bit of it, and it annoyed the shit out of me
Like,
while I was playing.
Here's the thing. Like, I don't want to get a tangent, but I will address it real quickly. Like, I understand that, yes, so Tomb Raider was like sort of a raising the bar for video games, but I never got into the series very much in general.
I never found it to be like a great game. Like, I tried to play it, and it just like frustrated me and was annoying. Like, all the
Maybe the newer
controls
ones are
were
better
terrible.
controlled or whatever.
maybe I don't know.
I don't know, Jerry.
You were playing some like weird top-down Tomb Raider game for a little while.
Yeah, there was
right?
some bullshit thing they gave out, like some spin-off game they gave out for free on PSN like a while back, and
Yeah,
it was all right. It was almost like Diablo, but way like not as good.
yeah, exactly. Perhaps we've given Square Enix too much time. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I'm sorry for.
that's okay. Yeah, we'll move on. That's all the time they're gonna get, pretty much. I'll move on to another quick one for me. Nintendo. They showed off the big thing, of course, is new Super Smash Brothers and like 64 characters or whatever it is, like a whole
Looks
bunch
intense.
of them,
It's every character from every
Ever,
previous
plus new
Smash
ones.
game plus a few
Yeah.
new ones. Yeah.
which is cool. And like, listen, I'm sure I won't get it, but maybe your roommate or someone else we
Yeah.
know, and I will certainly play Smash Brothers if they get the new one.
We might get a Switch by then. Who knows?
Speaking of which, have you guys seen There Will Be Brawl?
Yeah,
Yes.
Audience,
me- you
and
made
if
me
you
watch
out
it.
there, yeah,
If you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. It's a
it's awesome.
low, like I guess a film student.
No, it was Matthew Mercer did
Oh,
it, like wrote it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like who if he didn't like fucking shoot it, but he wrote the story for it.
It's a lot of fun, especially if you like
Yeah.
the Super Smash Brothers lore, I suppose.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool. So do check out Dory Ball if you think about it out there, but because I do recommend it. It was a good time.
I didn't know Matt Mercer did that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so there you go. And then also the other thing is, again, not that I care all much, but they announced Fortnite for Switch, which came out like that day, like the day they announced it. So you can play Fortnite on Switch now. Hooray! If you want to play Fortnite.
Yeah, play Fortnite. Hey, you know what?
Sure.
We shouldn't say that because I'm sure a lot of people play Fortnite. And by I'm
Yeah,
sure I
listen,
mean a shitload of people
It's-
play
it is the
fucking
biggest game probably right now, at least Battle Royale by far, for sure.
All my students play PUBG,
Yeah.
Fortnite.
so
So they're going
like
against the.
they're like neck and neck.
yeah.
Yeah. But I think Fortnite has a slightly more numbers or player base, whatever. But cool for them that they got it. That's basically the big one. So I have a couple items. Note the things that two other things that weren't like perhaps as big on everyone's radar, but they did show off Hitman 2, the follow up to last year's or 2 years ago.
I might get that.
Which looked quite good. It looked everything like basically they didn't mess with what worked,
Mhm.
and they showed off like a demo level at a racetrack, and I think it's set in Miami, so it looks really good. I'm definitely interested in that, and it comes out also November 13th, so at the year, not too far away. And two things for me, I've been waiting on, been checking in and out of these games. They finally showed off a Call of Cthulhu trailer and a Sinking City trailer, so they're both looking good coming out. Call of Cthulhu doesn't have a date, but it does say it had 2018, but no other actual date attached to it. But that's fine. That looks good. Sinking City did get a date. Good on them. Unfortunately, it's a little bit later. It's in March of 19. But
both
still fine.
Lovecraftian games
Yes.
for anybody who's into that.
Lovecraftian-based investigation. Call of Cthulhu will be in first person. Sinking City third person. But I've been waiting for Cthulhu, like a Lovecraftian style game like this for a while. So hey, now I get two. It's driving me mad. The Lovecraftian itself, but it does look good. It's promising that. They weren't like absent from E3
Yeah.
because if that were the case, then I'd be really worried about them. But it's cool that they're both showing off, so good on them. And finally, this sort of a PSA: a lot of people like to do streams, like watch the actual showcases as they're going on, and you'll see a lot of recaps. Do yourself a favor: if you're only going to watch one, watch Devolver Digital's presentation because it just takes the piss out of E3. It's fucking amazing. They're just trolling them. They showed off a couple of games. One's called My Friend Pedro. It looks fucking great. It's like a skateboard shooter. Best way to describe it. Of course, because it's Devolver. And but their whole presentation is like, they have this fucking amazing actress. Her name is, I have it here, Maria Zook, or maybe Mariah Zook. It's spelled Mahria. Either way, she plays a chief synergy officer at Devolver named Nina Struthers. And just like, it's almost like a Sam Raimi-esque sort of kind of thing, like trauma thing, where like she'll like blow up audience members, like it's like covered in blood and shit, and she's covered in blood, and like it's pretty cool. It's pretty funny.
I still haven't seen that. I gotta check.
Yeah, like last year's was amazing. So this year was a pretty good follow-up. It wasn't as good as last year's, but it's still funny. So yeah, it's like 15, 20 minutes. Just it's on YouTube. Check it out because Devolver Digital does a good job, and I have to give them credit on just having a funny presentation and not taking themselves or E3 too seriously, but also showing off a couple games here and there.
Yeah.
So that's like pretty much it. Like I said, this is our. Oh, sorry, I missed something.
one.
Yes, pretty much it for me. You guys brought this to my attention.
Ghost of Tsushima?
No, that's the
No.
that's the other one.
Ghost of
I think it's
Sashimi.
close to that.
No, that's the
No, that's it.
Oh no, yeah, it is. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, they had to fucking write it down up there.
Tsushima.
I apologize for mispronouncing it. This game looks amazing. I just finished God of War. I feel like this could be a follow-up that like because
In that vein, yeah.
the graphics are absolutely fantastic. It looks like the world they're building, and the combat system looks great, and everything sized up to this being one of my favorite games whenever it comes out. Hopefully, it'll come out sooner rather than later. What was the developer?
Oh, it's Sucker Punch, the guys who did the devs who did the Infamous.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
which was a good game.
which I'm glad that they have such a bold departure from their last series.
Yeah, I will give them a lot of credit. And you're right. So I'm glad.
This was my number one pick. What the most interesting thing I saw at E3.
No, good call because I did almost forget it. But it's funny because you mentioned to me, and then as I was like sort of collecting and keeping up on the news from E3 when it was going on, that seemed to like as I kept reading more things, that game people are like it's sort of like the breakout hit. Like they're like, damn, it kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah, it's the devs from, but kind of haven't heard much from them in a while. And as everyone said, like, yeah, it looks incredible. Check out the trailer for sure. Like art style and just the way the combat looks. Like you said, he looks really fucking solid. So. You're right. I was remiss in forgetting that one, but it is one of the standout ones. Or everyone agreed that it was sort of like a surprise trailer that everyone was really enthralled by.
I was gonna say if we remember, we should throw up a link to the trailer for maybe a couple of these in the.
If I don't get lazy about it, you can easily find them. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, if it's not there, just Google it. But you might not be able to spell Tsushima.
No, you'll find it. But yeah, like I said, like I realize this is not by any means comprehensive, just sort of what we liked and saw and thought of what was coming out of E3. But yeah, good call on that one.
And I did want to mention one other game that was not mentioned yet. A game called Jump Force.
Yep.
And for any of you anime fans, you're going to be interested in this. It's a fighting game that includes characters from Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Death Note, One Piece, and probably others that weren't shown in the trailer. But check out the trailer for that one too. It's pretty fucking crazy, and like if you're an anime fan, it kind of like is mind blowing that all these like crossovers are happening.
Smash them all together in one game.
So, I thought that was a pretty cool trailer, and I'm looking forward to. Actually, I'm looking forward to my roommate buying that game so I can play a little bit.
And checking it out.
I probably won't buy it myself, but.
No, I feel you. Good call. Very nice. Yeah. So like I said, it was solid-ish enough E3, but nothing too crazy. But certainly at the tail end there, those were some. Again, sort of like break out like sleeper hits that everyone's like, oh damn, that looks really cool, and there was no news about it beforehand. So yeah, I'm most interested in, like I said, the Cthulhu games and probably Cyberpunk, and then the Ghost of Tsushima one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our personal recap for E3. We sort of always cover E3 every year, in an obligatory type manner, but that's pretty much it.
We're happy to do it.
Yeah.
We're happy.
It's
to
video
do
games,
it for
but
you,
like
our adoring audience.
It's not what it used to be, but like I said, if you must check out only one thing, watch the Devolver Digital presentation because that was quite amusing. And then other than that, hopefully we'll see when these games come out, they'll be good.
Absolutely.
So, anything else to add? Anything I forgot, guys? I think that was it.
I think so.
All right. Well, that's been our E3 coverage for this year. I, of course, have been Scott Thurlow here with Jonathan Ian Manzer.
Support your local game developers.
Indeed. And Steve Ramosi.
Adios.
See you next time. Thank you for joining the Lost Signals Games and Gaming Culture. Check us out on YouTube and iTunes for the shows and more, and on Facebook and Twitter for updates.